Right. Fucking catch the rod on the side of it. Good. What I should really have done was not be a lazy cunt and get up and turn the fucking welding power down. That's that. So, as you can see there, that's that. That's a bit rough, but never to worry. You can't be seen. Now, with it being TIG, you've got the option. Do you clean it? Yeah, I'm not that fussed about it, to be fair. Just getting myself my helmet off and everything. And if I can reach it from here, just got to remember that you can't see it anyways. So that's a successful oh my, it's still a successfully welded plate back on. I'm going to zoom out a touch. Yeah, plate back on, hole filled in. I will tidy the little hole up, which you can't see at the minute, but you know the one I mean. I'll tidy that up with the flap disc just to make it look tidy, and I'll get inside with the die grinder and just give it a quick where it dropped through a bit, which is what I was trying to do because I wanted to fill the hole. I'll just give that a little tidy up. So for now, I won't put that on there. For now, that's pretty much it, because I'm going to go and feed my dog and have some scran. The actual work involved in this isn't that long. Yes, fair enough, it took us a while to cut through this flap, but that job, just taking the cat out, that didn't take long at all. It has took me all day, but I haven't just been working on this all day. I've had people through and doing bits and pieces as well as this. So, but that's basically how you de-flap and de-cat an exhaust on a Harley. I'll knock you off for now, and I'll come back later. Right, a couple of things I did off camera. When I moved the bike, the crossover pipe was catching on the floor. So what I've done is I've unbolted the left hand side muffler and just took it off. There was only the 2 bolts holding it on at the back. And I've also cleaned up that weld on the hole where the exhaust flap was, and been in with the Dremel, with my die grinder, and ground off the little lump on the inside of the exhaust. So that's done. What I'm going to do now is take off the exhaust actuator, because I don't need it anymore, so I'm not having it on. So basically just unplug it. Now the bike's still, don't know if you can see over the, no you can't, the bike's still in like the main fuse pulled. So if you're doing stuff like this, just set your bike up, take the main fuse out and unplug stuff, and then you're definitely not going to damage your CAN bus system then. Right, so 7/16 spanner, and there's two bolts of these on. And it looks like it's going to be tight right to the end. Do is get down to reach in, get the inside one, to be truthful, this is where one of them ratchet spanners would come in handy. In fact, for easier access, I might no, it won't work. was going to say I might just pull the wires off there and lift the loom up out the way. Right, you get the gist. There's two bolts to come off, one at each side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to knock you off. I'm just going to wind these bolts out. I won't lift that off, I'll just take the bolts out and then I'll switch you back on. Right, I've took the two stupidly long bolts off. Now basically to get these off, it's just a case of push your wiring out the way, tilt it out towards you and pull and feed your cable up. But then you can because you've got the room to do this, it's easier to do it up here than it is. Just need an old pick tool or a bit of bent welding rod will do the job. That's it. Just unhook the cable off the top. That's your actuator. That's where your cable goes in on that bit. And just push it back down. And that's the cable off. I mean, you can do it, you could have took that clip off the end and just pulled it straight out, but them clips are a bit of a pain in the ass to get off, and you usually knacker them taking them off. I mean, that's a nice free cable on there, it's not binding in the slightest, so pointless knackering it up. So the next thing, I'll put I better unhatch one out first. Grab some bits and pieces, I think they're in that box over there. O2, can't see the camera. O2 eliminators. That's one of your active air. Oh, can't, the fucking screen's upside down, dumbass. No wonder I couldn't fucking figure out. Active air intake. Sort of. Oh. Eliminator. So when you take active intake off, you can also buy these as kits where you've got the active air and the exhaust in one, but I'm sure that I've got a second hand one that I took back off the bike. There it is. Now this one here I'm going to put on. I know it works. It's been used. did a stage 1 for a lad, got his flap open in the open position, and then, you know, sort of locked it in, if you know what I mean, and unplugged it, plugged that in. I think it was maybe a month later he came back and asked if he could have his flap working again for some reason. I found out at a later date that he's got a mate who, I can't think of the right words for him without being politically incorrect. Basically, he's one of these people that thinks he knows everything about everything, and in reality he knows fuck all. I'm surprised if fuck has got the ability to breathe. But he told him that doing away with the flap on the exhaust can lose you nearly half the power of your bike. And he believed him. So anyways, I took it off. So I'm going to use it on fucking mine, because it doesn't do away with any power of your bike. It just stops the fucking getting an error message up on your dash. So what I'll do is I'll just put that in there. There's a little sort of hole on here which, when I'm done, I'll probably just put a cable tie around it, just so it's not like giving it that inside the side panel. But in fact I might even yeah, I might do it that way actually. Just cable tie it to the front edge of that. It won't interfere with anything. So that's that done. Now, before I put the system back on, before I put the exhaust system back on, I'm just going to have a bit of a tidy up, but I want to take this cam cover off, because I want to have a look at the cam chain shoes, tensioner shoes, just so I know it's good, if you know what I mean. So for now I'm just going to knock it off, have a bit of a tidy up, and I'll be back soon. Right, just a quickie. I didn't film taking the cam cover off, it's just 10 bolts and take the cam cover off. But my shoe is absolutely spot on. So I've had my mirror inside there. It's hard to see, but you can just make out on the top of the chain. I've got a little tiny mirror that'll fit inside this slot here, and you can just see, and that has no wear. Well, it doesn't look as if it's got any wear on it, but going by the front one, that one should be okay. I haven't had any issues with this, I just wanted to check it, so just thought I'd quickly show you that. So what I'll do is I'll ratchet out a new gasket, give that a clean up on the edges, get this button back up, and then when I come back we'll start putting the exhaust back on. Right, obviously you can see I've got the cam cover back on, torqued up, 14 to 17.5 Newton meters for the cam cover bolts. But basically, just a quick thing here to tell. I've pulled the old exhaust gaskets out, and I'm going to put a new pair in. I'm not going to bother filming it because you won't be able to see fuck all anyways. So I'm just going to quickly install these, and then when I come back, we'll start fitting the exhaust. Right, won't be too long. Right, I've got the new exhaust gaskets in, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put some anti-seize. Now basically this is just copper grease, whatever you want to call it. So I'm just going to put a touch, just a little bit, just on the threads. Now I'm not smothering them, I'm just putting a little bit on each, and as the nut winds up it should coat the inside of the nut. And just help it so it doesn't. To be fair, when I took the exhaust off, they came undone quite easy and came off, so that they're not like badly rusted out, so might as well try and keep them that way. And I've also decided that I will put new ones on, new nuts. So we'll get the header in place. Oh. That's the bit where I'd welded it, so I've just cleaned all that bit off. Right, just offer the pipes up. Right, I find that if you put the back flanges up so that they're ready. The other thing I'll do is feed the cables up. No, I don't want to feed them up, dumbass. Take that along the bottom and then up. Right. I'll probably block the view more for this, but right, I've got the back flange up. I'm just going to start one of the says hey, I think it'd be easier putting the fucking bottom one on first. Oh, you fucking dick. Just drop the nut. Give it a torch. So let's see where that went. Right, I'm just going to knock you off a minute. Right, finally I found it. Now, you may not believe this. What time we on? That took me nearly fucking 20 minutes to find. And it had tucked itself right in this back corner, and I had my mirror, my big mirror. I was in all, I was checking at the other end, and it hadn't dropped down into the belt, and fucking hell, I couldn't fucking find it. And then put my torch in this side, and my mirror, as my mirror was going up at top, just a glint off the chrome just caught it, and I fucking found it. Oh, I was getting ready to take fucking engine out. I wasn't really, but that took some finding though. So back to square one. So carefully we'll get one of these exhaust nuts on. Put them 3 down there, so I'll fucking probably drop all fucking 4. Come on. You wouldn't believe it, would you? Oh yeah, typical. Right, so that one wound on. Obviously my left hand doesn't work properly. I couldn't get it to fucking start on the thread. Probably, if that was a thread, I was probably putting the fucking bolt, trying to put the bolt on like that instead of straight on it. So I'll get one on this front. I'll do it. Which obviously I can't. I know where that's gone. I can see it. So I'll put one on the bottom, and that one I can get from going through the front. I can actually see it. Doesn't mean it's going to go on any easier, right? Right. Oh. And now another go at this top one. Try this time not to drop the fucking off. Which is going to happen. Right, where's my socket? It's not that one. It's not that one. Well, the annoying thing is I just had the fucking thing. Right, I'll just knock you off for a minute. Right, found it. So, right, that one's on. So now just get in on this one. Torch gun. Close that flap properly. See me stood through there. And that's that one going on. So, what I'll do now is I'll find my other little 1/2 inch and then I'll set it up on there. There it is. I'll get the torque wrench set up and we'll torque these up. Not with that fucking great torque wrench at once. What I'm going to do is just nip these up with me because first torque on these it's like sort of 2 Newton meters. So what I just want to do is just push it all the way up without putting any real pressure on it. And then the same on the front one. And then we'll torque it up. So the actual torque setting is, or should I say the way you do it, is torque one up to, like the bottom one, up to like say 2 Newton meters. Then torque the top one up I think it's like 13.6, but I always just set it on 14. Because I don't have a fucking 0.6 on the torque wrench. So then you torque the top bolt up to 14 or 13.6, and then you torque the bottom bolt up to 13.6. Right. This one's set up. A different extension on this. Or I would, if it was there. Doesn't help. There's no fucking room. And I should be able to get into this last bottom one with just the socket on. But I have to get it from this side. There's a fucking wheel in the way. Oh, such is life. It's a lot easier with the leg shields off, but saying that, if you take the leg shields off this one, you've got to take all the radiators off as well. Right, I'm just going to knock you off for a minute because I need to figure out a way of getting into this with the torque wrench. I'll be back in a minute.